of two parts, two separate workouts, workout A and workout B. You're going to perform both of them, and you're going to perform them in a staggered fashion. So you're going to train 3 times a week, total body, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. In week 1, you're going to perform workout A on Monday and Friday, with workout B slotted in for Wednesday. In week 2, you're going to have workout B leading off on Monday and being repeated on Friday, with workout A being slotted in on Wednesday. So you're basically alternating your workouts and carrying this over for as long as you do the entire program. From here, you want to make sure that since we're going total body, that we're not focused on necessarily a single muscle group, but that we're covering all the major functions. Circuit. Starting off with this exercise, it's the alternating single leg box squat. Now look, if you're at a more advanced level, you're going to perform this from a lower box. If you have to do this at a more intermediate or beginner level, you can simply raise the box. Now again, this box can be anything. It could be a bed, it could be a couch, any surface that you can get yourself down to. We move on here to something called the 1.5 bottomed out squats. And we talked about in other videos the benefit of working in that bottom range of the squat, in that parallel to below parallel range, to strengthen that portion, which is oftentimes the weakest area of the squat. We can do that here again regardless of what level we're at. We take this for the entire minute. Again, if you have to rest pause, you can do that. From here we then go in and we finish out this circuit, which your legs will probably be pretty fried at this point, with a simple jump squat. And again, this can be pretty taxing at this point. With other bodyweight workouts, if you had just stopped at the first exercise, or even if you attempted to take that by itself to failure, you could be doing it for a really long period of time. But when you stack them together like this, the cumulative fatigue becomes something that is able to be progressive and overloaded, and that's where the real benefit comes from. Right off the bat here, we start with a handstand push-up, a shoulder-dominated, very difficult exercise. That being said, if you can't do this, you then simply just do something like this, the power push-away. It's still working the shoulders. It doesn't require as much of your own body weight that you have to lift off the ground, but it's still going to get the job done. You move on from here to the next exercise, which is a rotational push-up, a little bit more of a chest bias. And with the rotation, I've mentioned this before, you get that little added relative adduction at the chest to really try to hit the chest as best as we possibly can. Again, realizing that we have limited numbers of exercises that we're using since we have to cover the entire body. And again, if you can't do this, you can simply drop down to your knees and perform the same movement and get the same benefits at a slightly easier level. And then you wrap it up here with a tricep exercise, this one called the Cobra push-up. And what we're going to do between workouts A and B is just hit the different positions of the long head of the triceps. This one would actually train the long head of the triceps in its more contracted position because you have that elbow straightened out with your arm closer to your body into or close to extension. Back now to the lower body, and in this case now we have something here called the alternating heel touch squat. This one here is a posterior chain focused exercise. Just by leaning forward, you shift a lot of the focus on to the glutes to perform the exercise, and you're simply trying to go down, touch both hands to the outsides of your heels, and come back up. At a more beginner level, if you need a little bit of extra assistance, or even just a little bit of a balance assistance, you could do the kickstand variation where you just have one foot out there, bearing maybe about 10 to 15% of your body weight. From here we move on to the alternating sprinter lunge. And again, by simply leaning forward, we turn a regular lunge that's quad dominant into something that's more posterior chain glute dominant. You alternate back and forth. Both levels, of course, will be able to do this. And then we wrap it up here with one final exercise, the plyo sprinter lunge. So we take the same position here, and now we really want to burn it out. And we see if we can be more explosive. Stay low to the ground here where your glutes are maximally engaged. Again, at the beginner level, if you have to, you can simply make that switch at a much higher elevation. So come up out of the lunge a little bit and then make the switch. Back to the upper body again, this time upper pull. And in this case, we start off with the pull-up, the classic pull exercise. And again, all you're required to have here is a single pull-up bar in your house to be able to get this done. If pull-ups are too challenging for you, though, you could do this exercise instead. This is called a seated pull-up. And all you got to do is just position your legs as you see me here and lean back. And I've just got literally a single dowel or broomstick across the top of either two couches or two chairs. Again, there's a home workout and there are no excuses. From here, we move on to the next exercise, the human pullover. Again, this is a tough exercise. This is for the more advanced people doing this. It looks a little bit like the Bruce Lee Dragon Flag, as you see here. But the idea is, look at the lats doing the work here. I'm actually trying to pull my body up, not by moving my knees towards my chest, but by pulling my arms into an immovable object. So whatever you're holding on to, the bottom of a couch, the bottom of a bed, whatever it is, you're trying to pull down as hard as you can, and that will actually get your body to rise. So don't think of it as trying to pull your abs up, but more pulling your arms down like a pullover. If you can't do this, the bodyweight equivalent of this is this sliding pull down. And you can see I'm on a sliding surface, a hardwood floor, a tile floor, and I'm just trying to pull my body back up to the top. Allow it to drift out, get that stretch in the lats, and pull back in. And then we finish with the exercise here, the inverted chin curl. Again, back to that same setup that I mentioned before, and the idea here is not just to pull with your back, but actually trying to pull as if you're curling your body up to the bar to really engage the biceps. Our last two combinations here, the first of which is a core circuit. And the exercises that we choose here start at a lower ab exercise, this one the reverse corkscrew. And you can see here that we're not just getting that engagement of the lower abs, but we're also getting a little bit of bottom-up rotation to get the obliques as well. We move up to the next exercise, and that is the Black Widow knee slide. So here we call this a mid-range exercise. I drive my knee in towards my elbow, I slide it up to get a little bit more flexion through the spine. The focal point of the flexion is happening kind of mid-back to engage both upper and lower abs. And then finally we wrap it up with our levitation crunch. Here the goal is just to elevate your scapula and your shoulder blades off the ground. Not to curl them up towards your knees, but literally to just lift them up off the ground as if you're trying to levitate. And in these workouts here, the angel and devil. And that is something that seems so sweet and easy, but is so damn hard. And it gets the entire posterior chain. I have to have my quads elevated off the ground, so I engage the glutes, I engage the low back, and then this rotation of the arms is actually taking our shoulders through full rotation, working not only the rotator cuff, but also engaging the upper scap muscles and mid-back muscles as well, areas that tend to get neglected. So now this entire workout that you've worked your way through, that's one time. Ideally, I want to see you go through it 2 or 3 times. If you go through it 2 times, the workout will take you about 35 minutes or so. If you go through it 3 times, you'll max out at about just over 50 minutes. So no matter what you choose to do, you still got a workout here that's going to take you less than an hour.